Are you tired of feeling like you just don't have enough time to complete everything in a day? Maybe you're falling flat on your goals, on your checklist. You're feeling overwhelmed, unproductive. I have this secret weapon that's helped me 10x my productivity and, more importantly, achieve way more when it comes to my goals in a lot less time. And today, I'm going to share that with you. Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Matty A back on the channel bringing you another killer video. Today, I'm going to share with you some of my goal setting secrets and really how I've created a routine, a rhythm, habits that have drastically increased my productivity and my goal achievement using my very simple goals and habit tracker. I'm going to walk you through this sheet and show you my specific goals and habits and how I use this sheet for achieving peak performance throughout the year. So that way you can set goals like a pro yourself and you can create a better routine, a better rhythm, and have a better mindset that has you 10xing your own productivity and goal achievement too. But before we jump in today, you know what time it is. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel and smash that like button so the YouTube gods share this amazing content with more awesome people like yourself. And if you have any questions for me at all, drop those in the comment section. And don't forget to check out all of the links and resources down below as well. So I'm going to start by taking you back to 2013 when I was attending my very first mastermind event. This was a GoBundance Millionaire Mastermind, and I found myself in this beautiful mansion in Steamboat, Colorado with 15 other millionaires who were sharing their success secrets, and not just around business, but around crushing all areas of their life. And the most common theme amongst all of these individuals was that they not only set goals, but they obsessively tracked and measured those goals. Now, some used a planner, some used a spreadsheet, and it didn't really seem to matter where or how they tracked those goals, only as long as it was in a format that they knew they were going to consistently use. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'd always been somebody that had goals in my head that I was moving the needle forward towards and that I was really trying to accomplish. And I'd heard different statistics over the years, like people who set specific challenging goals are 90% more likely to achieve them, or people who write their goals down are 42% more likely to achieve them. I think that was from a Dominican University study. But honestly, I thought it was always cheesy. And I didn't really ever fully buy into that point around the whole goal setting, goal writing down process. But when I was in that room, I felt peer pressure, the right kind of peer pressure, that positive peer pressure to write out my goals and to track them in a way that allowed me to be very clear myself and also allow others to hold me accountable towards achieving those goals, for them to be clear on what those things were. And from that day forward, I've never not set goals or written them down or tracked them, because what gets managed gets measured, and what gets measured gets managed. And over the years, I've used many different habit tracking apps and goal setting frameworks, but I really couldn't find one that I felt was simple enough, yet also effective enough when it came to tracking everything that I wanted all in one place. And what they always say, right, is innovation is often birthed out of necessity, which is why I decided to create the Rich Life Planner and build my own goal setting and tracking framework. And now, so for the sake of time, for today's video, we're going to focus specifically on the goals in the habit tracker. So let's go through each tab. I'll show you exactly how I use this so that way you can get the most out of this tool as well, should you want to create something similar for yourself. Or if you don't want to go all to the work of making something from scratch, you can click the link down below and get a copy of this template for yourself and start using it right away. First, before setting up your goals and habits dashboard tab, let's start with your annual goals and work backwards from there. So on this tab, we have all the different categories that I like to set goals in, which really encompasses all the categories from the Rich Life Planner. Now, I've found that if you focus on these areas with some purpose and some intentionality, you're on your way to becoming what I like to call the whole life millionaire. Not just a millionaire in your bank account, but living like a millionaire in all areas of your life that really matter, that bring together this all-encompassing version of yourself that is the best you can possibly bring to the table. Now, ideally, you want to have 2 to 4 goals in each category. I'd say no more than 5 and no less than 1. Again, these annual goals should be goals that stretch you, that inspire you, that challenge you, that really move the needle forward on your 3 to 5 year vision. And as a few rules to think about when setting your goals, they shouldn't be basic to-dos that you can easily check off, but more so project-based goals or outcomes that are going to require a good amount of time and effort to achieve. And the other thing to note is that your goals should be generally 100% in your control. As you can see, here are my annual goals, and these are goals that I review and I update on a weekly, a monthly, and a quarterly basis as I make progress throughout the year on achieving those. There's two other things that I'll note while we're here on this tab. Number one, you can use this simple drop down to label the status of your goal. And two, you can update your goals that have specific tallies that need to be tracked in each quarter, as well as to check your status or currently total up your work as you move it towards that final outcome or milestone. So now that we've got this wrapped up, let's move over to the quarterly rocks. This is the quarterly rocks tab, or otherwise noted as the quarterly goals. Now, in general, I aim to select about 5 main goals for the quarter. And here's my strategy for selecting those quarterly rocks. When I set my quarterly rocks, I will always look at my annual goals first, and I'm going to see what goals need to be accomplished for that quarter. What are the most important ones that I want to track, that I want to spotlight? If it's a goal that can only be accomplished in maybe a certain season or time of year, you want to make sure that you're aware of that so that way you can set that goal in the right quarter to be accomplished during that 90-day sprint. Now, I also like to track and knock out some of my bigger or more challenging goals in quarter one because it really builds momentum that I can carry into later quarters of the year. And if for some reason I don't accomplish one of the bigger or the harder goals, I still have plenty of time in additional quarters to come to try and get that done. The other thing that I often consider when setting my top 5 quarterly rocks during my 90-day sprints is that I need the most support or accountability around these goals. Therefore, they better be the most important ones, the biggest dominoes, the biggest needle movers. And some of your annual goals that you set may be important to you, and they made the list because you want to keep them in front of you, right? Front and center, but maybe they don't necessarily challenge you as much as some of the others or require as much support or accountability from others as you pursue checking them off. So for me, when I'm narrowing down which are going to be the top 5 I put on the list in this tab, they are going to be the ones that I need the most support or the most accountability with throughout the quarter. So as you can see, here are my quarterly goals, which I've pulled out of my annual goals tab. And these were the most important ones that I chose to make the list for my top 5 quarterly rocks over this 90-day sprint. Now, I will also note before we move on, I also have what I call an honorable mentions list that you're not going to see here on this spreadsheet, but generally, these are goals that I want to get done in that quarter as well, but I wouldn't necessarily categorize them in my top 5 most important goals for the quarter. So that's just a little reminder that if you have a few more goals that are beyond the top 5 that are still important to you, that you want to spotlight, you want to keep some accountability around, you can also make an honorable mentions list as well. Again, like the annual goals, you have the drop down so that you can update the status of the goal throughout the quarter. And I generally will make those updates for each annual and quarterly goal at the end of the week when I'm setting up my goals and habit tracker for the upcoming week, which we'll dive into now. So last but not least is the most important tab of them all. This is what keeps me hyper-focused and aware and intentional around being the best and most productive version of myself. And as you can see, it's like a dashboard. It's where I have all the most important things in one place. Now, this tab I update probably times a day, at least 2 to 3 times a day when I'm checking off my morning routine and my evening routine. And as I get to complete certain to-dos, I will also check those off as well. Generally, I'll do it in the morning, then at lunch, and then update the remainder of my sheet in the evening after I'm done with my evening routine, and I'm setting up my next day's top 5 to-dos. Now, on the right-hand column, you can see your top quarterly goals that you'll want to transfer over from your quarterly tab. And then from there, as you work through the quarterly goals and weeks and months, you want to make sure that you're breaking down what's necessary to get done that month or to get down that week or to get done that day. Pretty self-explanatory, but it's just an easier way of chunking down your goals so that way you can simplify your actions that you need to take as you check them off. And again, there's going to be so many things that you need or you feel like you need to do each and every day, this is to help you get clarity and really narrow down that if you were only allowed to get 5 things done that day, what are the 5 most important things to get done that day? That will move the needle forward on the 5 most important things to get done that week, which will move the needle forward on the 5 most important things to get done that month, which obviously get done the 5 most important rocks of the quarter. You get the point. So last, you can update the gratitude and affirmation section as often as you like. I generally stick with my affirmations for a quarter or 2, but really just something that motivates me, that moves me, and I will update my gratitude weekly based on what's going on in my life at that time. But again, the main purpose of this tab is just to create awareness around the most important things on your to-dos, on your habits, on your goals, on your calendar, and also to keep a positive mindset in the process, which is where the affirmations and gratitude comes in. Last but not least, we got a book tracker. Some people like it, some people don't. Feel free to use it as you see fit, but all in all, this is my simple goals and habit tracker. And as you can see, this isn't rocket science, and it's not some magic potion for success. What this is, it's an awareness tool, and it keeps a spotlight on the things that you've taken the time, that you put in the work on to identify are the most important things that you want to achieve in terms of your goals and all the important areas of your life. And it keeps your awareness up around those areas in addition to the habits that will have you most optimized for achieving those goals. The more aware that you are, the more purposeful and intentional you can be. And the more purposeful and intentional you are, the more productive and likely you are to 10x your output and achieve way more in less time by just simply focusing on the most important things. Now, for me, this tool is probably the most important thing I use on a daily basis. It lets me know when I'm winning. It lets me know when I'm losing. It lets me know when I'm ahead of my goals, when I'm off track on my goals. And ever since using this tool, not only has my overall accomplishment percentage in terms of my goals gone way up, I think just my overall happiness has gone way up, or my overwhelm, my anxiety has gone way down by having this clarity and this scoreboard right in front of me. So hopefully this was helpful. If it was, please be sure to smash that like button. Share this with somebody that you think could gain some value from it. And if you want to grab a blank template of this, the link is down below. Thanks for watching the full video. Until next one, cheers, my friends.